Kevin Owens, host of the Overseas Famous podcast, here to personally invite you to subscribe to our official Patreon. Are you guys ready to take your podcast experience to the next level? Well, with our Patreon, you can do just that. And the best part, pricing starts at just $1. It's like a pack of gum. Less per month. By becoming a Patreon member, you'll unlock a world of amazing perks. We're talking merch giveaways, signed items by our guests, shout outs on the podcast, exclusive content, and so much more. Not only will you guys get to connect with me and the Overseas Famous community on a deeper level, but you'll also gain access to behind the scenes content and early episode releases. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Join our Patreon today and become part of the Overseas Famous family. Together, we will make podcast history. Thank you for your support and can't wait to see you on Patreon. So we are here with Raj and Kuntal from Loot Mogul. We have a really interesting show. They are going to take us through this incredible innovation, which is MogulX. It is an AI platform. We are super excited to hear more about this. And obviously, Loot Mogul, the sponsor of the Overseas Famous podcast, here to bring us deeper into the world of tech, gaming, and AI. So can you guys give us an overview of MogulX and how it fits into the sports tech industry?
Yeah, so MogulX is our new product within the Loot Mogul ecosphere, but it's an open platform for athletes and the gamers and also the sports community to leverage. So you can create your avatar, essentially your AI character, and then feed the learning modules as needed. Again, single click, no tech needed, no coding required. And train your avatar. So if you have seen the movie Real Steel, that's essentially where Hugh Jackman, right, is training the robot, right? Essentially, in that manner, you're training your AI character to play and compete within Loot Mogul and other ecosystem games. So you can train the AI character to be the best basketball player, right? He or she will be the best basketball dunk player inside the game, right? So esports wise. So that's where we are super excited to create this open architecture for sports sector. And specifically, if you go to mogulx.ai, is where you can learn a lot about it. It's again an open platform, no fees ever will be charged to the community, and you can sign up and you can start working on creating your AI avatars.
What motivated you guys to create this platform?
Yeah, so we saw the industry revolution that is currently happening with AI and ChatGPT and many other AI-related platforms. For Loot Mogul, we are all about athletes. Athletes and fans drives the engagement for the entire sports community. So for us, it was very critical that we create this platform so that the next generation of technologies can be leveraged for the sports community. Specifically, an athlete can be part of this revolution that's happening with ChatGPT and other platforms. But there's not, we haven't seen any platform that focus on the sports technology, right? Or the sports tech we classify our business model as. And that's where it was very critical for us to launch this open AI service where it benefits not only the broader community, it benefits other game companies. Other gaming companies can benefit from this open platform. So it was more of a community-driven product that we have created for athletes and also for the fan base.
And
what are
just
some...
to add to
oh,
this,
go ahead,
yeah, just to add to the Raj point, it is also opportunity for the brands, to get into the AI, along with the brand ad space with in real life goods as in form of a digital assets also.
That's fascinating. Then when you guys look at this, what are the innovations for AI in the gaming industry? What is AI created within the gaming industry that is just so creating this whole entire buzz?
Yeah, so AI in gaming we believe is the next evolution of the game engagement, right? So why do people play games, especially if you play like NFL Madden or or NBA 2K or any of the sports games. So the objective of really game is be more of a player that you are learning, you're earning, and you're driving conversation with your friends and your community. AI takes that engagement to the next level, where now you are creating, and I would bless, or I would say, many of this innovation idea comes from Hollywood, right? So good or bad, but Hollywood comes up with this futuristic, and I think I mentioned this in past with Ready Player Me, or Ready Player One movie, and now with Real Steel. All those movies gives a lot of creative ideas in the real world, and many companies can take advantage of those platforms now because of the technology that currently exists. So I would say the Real Steel was released, I believe, in 2011 or so. So it's almost a 12-year-old movie, but many of those futuristic training modules are currently now can be implemented in gaming space. So where you are training a robot, then your robot has this almost a self-learning brain inside in AI world, where the AI will say, okay, you taught me this move for dunking the basket, but I also know that if I play like Shaq, I can do it much better. So it's like you're training your avatar to do one thing, but then the self-learning makes it to do X plus Y plus Z.
Okay.
So to me, that's where it's a very new concept in the gaming space. We are thrilled to be enabling this feature through the services that are available in the market right now, and then specifically for the sports sector. Kuntal, anything else you want to add here?
Yeah, and there are multiple AI innovations, especially in the gaming, zone. If we have to look at it, like you can create a multiple game content around that, right? Which will generate, diversified and a dynamic game levels and the challenges which the newer and the younger generations are looking for. There is a infinite content possibilities, especially in the gaming and the sports gaming domain, right? Today, you are not limiting to any specific sports. Today, as Raj mentions, if I wanted as a user to create a character, right? I mean, I can create a character and use that character's strength into multiple gamings. Today, for example, I want to use a character, say, from soccer, which is Messi, or from Mbappe or somebody else, and build the strength of it and want to utilize in some other gaming form. That's a huge potential and opportunity, right? Which is termed even as a efficiency and scalability. So you can scale that with a dynamic adaptives. And there is endless exploration and a discovery in this, which the younger generation today is venturing and exploring into, the gaming side of it.
When you guys talk your artificial intelligence, like machine learning, deep learning, how user friendly is the platform for individuals like myself who have no coding or technical knowledge? Is it easy to navigate and build without the ability to dive deeper into the actual coding world?
Yeah. So the answer is yes and no, right? The reason I say yes and no depends on who the company is creating that overlay layer, right? So if you go into the hardcore programming side of the core learning, deep learning, data science, and so forth, yes, that's definitely a massive technical knowledge you require. But you can almost encapsulate that layer with a user-friendly interface, right? So to me, the perfect example with ChatGPT. Behind ChatGPT, there's all this complex stuff that is happening that people may not know, right?
No.
Or they may not have the skill set for it. But the ChatGPT created a nice overlay structure about it. So for us, it's also very critical as a Loot Mogul, as a company, and as a MogulX as a product, to make sure that we encapsulate those deep learning technology side with a very user-friendly interface. And that user-friendly interface will require you like submitting essentially when you go to the address bar on a browser, the Chrome browser or IE or whatever browser it is. You're typing in the website. That website leads you to the store and opening up all the purchase items and everything else. User doesn't need to know all the backend cloud technologies to make that happen. People are just going to the browser, right? Essentially, we are creating a similar experience for sports athletes. You go to a Loot Mogul website, mogulx.ai. As a browser, you enter what you want to train in terms of the feeds, what skills you want to do. You're submitting all the data points as just websites. And then the website will share the backend data to build out your character. So to answer your question, Kevin, it also depends on how simple the technology companies, and luckily, obviously, we feel that we have first mover advantage, but I'm pretty sure there will be other companies that are already doing or maybe doing in a similar manner, where they are making life easy for athletes and gamers. Because to me, that's a critical part. When you are creating this overlay structure, you want to make people's life easy, whether it is Kevin, you creating your avatar, or whether it is Lisa Leslie or Carlos or Carlos Boozer or Michael Cooper, any of our brand ambassadors. You want to make sure that you are creating an overlay structure where they're just essentially putting, okay, here is what I want them to learn and read about. So for example, you can train your avatar saying that here is the website about how to be the best basketball player, right? Read about it. So then the AI will learn from that website all the moves that are needed to be the good player. That's how it's doing a self-learning. So it's a very, very simple interface that we are building, and then people can submit.
That's fascinating. And when you talk about that, because that's the whole entire, it's like mimicking those human-like behaviors. It's mimicking what you can do on the court, and it's mimicking for AI and creating this better. It's revolutionary. How do you guys envision the collaboration between AI avatars and real-world athletes or fans enhancing that gaming experience?
Yeah, so this will be completely driven by athletes, for athletes, and for fans, right? So from that perspective, we want to make sure that we are creating more of a pilot group with the launch. The 25 plus AI athletes are going to be the pilot user. Then obviously they will be learning, they're building out their avatar with us. And then what we also want to do is that make this avatar transportable across other games. So that's why we were working with game developers, where you can build out in Loot Mogul. You're obviously playing inside Loot Mogul metaverse, but you can also transport it to other game engines and so forth. And that would be the approach. But going back to your question, is that really, yes, we want to focus on creating this pilot group of AI avatars for athletes and fans, and then let them train them. We obviously are going to provide all the support that is needed to make that next generation level. And what we have seen from ChatGPT, right, the way they launched it, you have pilot, you have beta, and then you have full production mode. We are doing a similar structure rollout, but focusing on athletes only right now.
So how can the Loot Mogul community, the community of athletes that are part of Loot Mogul, how can they contribute to this evolution of this fantastic idea?
Yeah, so what we are doing is we are creating a small focus group. So as you have seen some of our group conversations, a town hall that we have on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, in those town hall, we are going to share this entire vision and ask some of them to be the pilot champions, right? So coming again from Riot Games, or the background that I have, we have all these champions played inside the game with specific skill set. So we want to create that champion portfolio with athletes, and then obviously depending on their availability, we are not asking tremendous amount of time, because obviously it's going to be self-driven, self-learning AI avatars. So once they sign up or once they create their initial AI avatar, then they can constantly enhance, and we'll provide all the tools needed for enhancements.
So again, this is into two segments, basically. If you look at the customer perspective, one, customer is your ambassadors, right? The sports ambassadors who will be, as Raj mentioned in the pilot phase, 25 plus around, who would be trained with the AI and so on. Well, once we come up and launch them, then the community, which is the user base, we have a small group of a community which is again driven by our team and the social groups on, say, Telegram, Discord, and many of our social channels, where we are forming a small group formations. And they were the first one to actually test those, the platforms at the pilot phase. With a lot of insights, inputs, and feedbacks, we will be taking it up, and the engineering team will be working behind it based on the feedback which they give on their experiences.
It's fascinating because when I look at AI technology and you have these skills that are developing in terms of like the athletic skills that your avatar is developing, is there like a personality or emotional point that like comes out? Can your avatar create its own personality in a way of like how you become like a little more like yourself, a little swagger, a little off the court, personality?
You're on mute, Raj. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, the avatar training can technically happen in a self-learning module, or call it a supervised, right? And then it can also happen in unsupervised. That's the power of AI, right? And that power of AI is again depending on you as a creator. So it's not something Loot Mogul is going to control. It's as a creator, as an athlete. If you want your avatar to have that swag, right? You will feed maybe your Instagram feed, right? Or maybe your Facebook account, right? Or TikTok, or whatever it is. Your avatar can start learning, right? The behavior, the type of video content you're creating, the type of messaging you're doing. And again, within the privacy guidelines, yes, this avatar can technically have its own personality. So, and then also improve or go from there, right? In a supervised mode, right? In unsupervised mode, this is where it gets, AI becomes more dangerous, right? So, unsupervised mode is like, I may start not only following your feeds, but I may start following Kuntal's feed, or Kevin, your feed, or other people's feed, right? And then I can start learning from other friend circle. And then obviously that becomes more of a, like, I may have a little bit of everything, right? Which is good and bad, right? So that's where initially with AI, you have to be careful, because machine learning, deep learning has tremendous capabilities, as we know. But you want to do, at least in the sports segment, especially for the community governance segment, in a more of a supervised manner. And the supervision is not coming from any big agency or a company like us, but it's coming from you as a individual, and ultimately the power is in your hands.
Wow. That's like when you talk about the power that AI has, it's crazy, because I think back to like the movies that I watched growing up, like Terminator and the Terminator 2, and I'm like, you're kind of watching this like, what are you even talking about? Now you're like, oh, I get it. This is what they were saying. They were saying that this could be, if it's used irresponsibly, dangerous. But how you guys are utilizing it, how you're creating it, is a way to generate. Because I was talking to a lot of people about just how, as an athlete, what you feel, what you're going through, the emotional aspect of it, the physical aspect of it. It's fun to almost like mimic that, to create this whole entire style where people who aren't in that position can feel like they're in that position, and almost get that same thought process and same mentality that some of these elite athletes have, which is just incredible to me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially I would say Icky Woods, right? So the Icky Woods from NFL, right, Bengals. The move he did during one of his games.
Yeah, Icky
right?
Shuffle.
Yeah, Icky Shuffle, right? So imagine Icky Shuffle, that your AI character is doing it maybe every game, right? And obviously, since Icky is part of our team, or he's brand ambassador, that is very much likely, right? So people love Icky Shuffle, right? So that would be your swag, as a gamer, right? Your athlete avatar is replicating. So that would be something very easily doable. Yeah. But go ahead, Kuntal. Yeah.
I mean, we all know every individual has their own swag today, right? And so do have the sports people. You have been interviewing to many of the sports personalities, they give their emotions. Imagine you're capturing those emotions, sentiments, feelings, which perhaps no camera or any such things would have captured even in a real life television, right? This, when they feed in as their emotion or a sensational. Imagine, in a kind of a comical uh, presentation, you present this, it just enhances the characterizations and the game feeling to the users across, right? And this swag of an individual, like I can have my own swag, which perhaps nobody knows it or nobody's even interested or following, but which is something really different and unique. And if I create a character through it and AI, who knows? It can become the USP of it. It can be a trendsetter of it.
That's so incredible. When you guys look at AI and it's continuing to evolve, AI is constantly evolving. How do you see Mogul X adapting to keep up with these advancements in AI and the sports tech fields?
Yeah. So it will be definitely a community approach, right? So where obviously we have a tech community. So we are building out with many of the services that are being currently built by Microsoft on the Chat GPT / OpenAI platform, with Google AI services along with Amazon AI. So we are using many of those services that will continuously keep adding new features. So those services will help us improve and make it available to the sports community, right? So that would be something. So we are obviously we are more like an app builder, right? Taking what is available on the cloud or the infrastructure layer and bringing it to the athletes and so forth. The second factor would be is definitely going to be more of an athlete and fans driven, right? Because that's why we have very strong Telegram community, even WhatsApp community, and also Twitter and so forth, or Instagram. Those community members can be constantly providing us with feedback. And as I think Kuntan mentioned this, we are working on a rapid iteration for AI, especially AI and also this gaming side of it, because we won't take the feedback implemented right away if it's feasible, and create the almost daily updates, right? So now in future it'll be more like hourly updates, but systems like it used to be like Apple's new iPhone comes every 1 year, right? So iPhone 15. That to me is a very long product cycle. With Mogul XAI, you want to release new things every day, ideally, right? So that would be again possible through AI, through the cloud services and technologies, and through community feedback, because the community feedback is very critical, and that's why there's a lot more engagement around it.
When we talk about this, what would you guys say is you hit on this a little earlier, what would you say is the ultimate benefit of Mogul X? What is the ultimate goal, the benefit that you guys have, the goal that you have for this platform?
Yeah. So our ultimate goal is we want athletes, and I think Kuntal said that too. We want athletes, fans, and brands to be the creator, right? So we also learn from the TikTok-based model. People love to create stuff, whether you're creating good stuff or bad stuff, they still want to be the creator. For that to happen and be open to other platforms, Mogul X allows you that capability. So for us, it was very critical that we create more of a creator-focused AI platform, specifically targeting sports community. Whether you are an athlete, you want to create your avatar, train your avatar, and then let the avatar play inside Loot Mogul games and other games. If you're a fan base, you may want to also play against many of the star athletes we have or other teams have. And then you want to own the content around that. Same thing with the brands. If you want to sell your products with its physical merchandise, digital merchandise, you want to also put your AI branding on people's clothing. So for example, Nike, right? If I'm wearing Nike shorts for all my game, maybe my AI avatar needs to wear Nike shorts too, right? So that's when Nike has an opportunity in the sports community to also be branded with Loot Mogul, and this Mogul X AI platform allows you to do that. So same thing with Adidas, Puma, and whatever the brands are, Red Bull, KFC. You can have your AI jersey be part of the. You can be wearing those AI jerseys, right? So with all that being said, that was our ultimate vision: is to create this, call it as AI creator platform for the sports fans, athletes, and the brands.
You guys are talking, it's first off, this is fascinating to me. So I'm listening because obviously I'm not in the AI realm. Like you guys are experts in this field. I'm just a bystander listening in, but I feel like I'm learning so much just hearing this conversation. And it's an important conversation to have within the world of sports and how we're going. When we talk about this, like the impact, how people engage with sports and esports in the future, like where do you see Mogul X or AI in gaming? Where do you see where it's going to be heading?
Yeah, so we believe the open platform will obviously drive a lot of governance and community driven content, right? So for us, Mogul X is very critical platform for that reason. Obviously, our first application of Mogul X would be inside Loot Mogul. So we want to make sure that in the Loot Mogul metaverse, people are able to use all the benefits that people are creating in the Mogul X. And then obviously go into other ecosystem partners, whether it's potentially Roblox or any Unity-based game engine or any of those, right? So those will be a potential future that can happen. But for us, it's very critical that we start bringing truly the sports technology or the next generation of sports technology, whether it's blockchain. We started out with gaming and with Web3, metaverse gaming, blockchain, right? AI is a critical part of the Web3. So the Web3, as you may have seen, has three major components: metaverse, blockchain, and AI. For us, Mogul X was that missing piece. And that's why we added this product feature functionality based on, again, all our athletes asking, okay, what are you doing in AI space? Many of the brands are asking us, what are you doing in the AI space, especially you are a sports tech platform. So for us, it was very critical to launch this Mogul X AI. And it's really going to be we believe it's going to be a very substantial, beneficial product for the community.
When you guys look at like the market that is being created and the people who are looking to invest in such platforms, where do you see that? Is this market just going to take off? Is it going to keep growing? Like the metaverse, the AI, everything that you're doing, the gaming, the esports. You talked about Roblox. Like it's those little connections that I'm making where, I'm sitting there last night, it's 11 o'clock. I hear noises. I go into my kids' rooms and they're sitting together playing Roblox. I'm like, what are you two doing? Like, go to bed. But that's like something that they do because it's an avatar. It simulates real life. And it's just the market is unbelievable. This market is heading with a high trajectory. Where do you see this going as the future continues?
Yeah, so we truly believe that this has a huge potential impact, not for investment community, but also for the future of the younger generation, right? So specifically, like I'll share some of the public data for Roblox, right? So the Roblox data was published recently, and you see 67% or so of the user population is under 16, right? Or 16 or under. So what happened? And then I think 80 or 84% or 87% is under 21. So what happens to the young generation that are growing up in this metaverse gaming space? What happens to them when they want to really become a professional athlete, or they want to play something like an NBA 2K or NFL Madden or a cricket game, right? It can be any of those games. What happens to that younger generation? They need the next evolution platform. We believe with Mogul X and also what we are doing inside Loot Mogul, that's the future. Now, as an industry, there are big numbers that are thrown around, right? So McKinsey said $5 trillion by 2030. Goldman Sachs said $2 trillion or $8 trillion, right? So crazy trillions of dollars projection from an industry perspective. And then you have recently there was also a statistical article about AI It's going to
Bain
grow
Capital.
tenfold. Yeah. So it was Bain Capital, right? So that's going to go into tenfold from where it is currently. For us, there's definitely huge potential, right? Whether it is 1 trillion, 10 trillion, we don't know, right? But for us, the natural common sense for us is that the people who are growing up with Roblox model right now, they need the next evolution of sports engagement platform. And right now, we believe that we are really positioning ourselves and especially positioning the community, especially athletes and the fan base to become that next market for monetization. Because not only as a fan you can monetize, as an athlete you're monetizing it, but as a brand. Imagine selling, like for example, Nike or Puma or Adidas for the shorts, right? Or the jerseys, right? Logos and all that. For those digital items that is being built in the AI world and even the metaverse world can be huge, and that has not only intrinsic value inside the game, but also it's in real life value where you can say, you know what, as Kevin you mentioned before, can my AI avatar be a swagger like me, right? What about vice versa? Maybe your AI will make you a swagger if you are not, right? So your AI will create a whole new look, and you say, you know what, I like that look. I want that in physical item. So you know what, I'm going to order whatever my AI is wearing. I want that to be delivered to the house. So the AI jersey that you have bought digitally now becomes a physical item at home. Same applies for the balls, the football, or the helmets, or whatever the item is, right? And then if AI is learning something, you know, I like what he or she is learning in the AI world. I want to replicate that in real world. So it's really the future. We feel it's really more elaborative, right? Where again, I use the example of Ready Player One movie. Is that whatever you do in the gaming world can be brought into real world and vice versa. So for us, it's a very critical development. And the good news is that we are, like most of the companies, we are at a very beginning stage, right, of this revolution. So there's tremendous potential for the sports, especially around sports community, that we feel that everyone can benefit early on.
And
Yeah, I can tell.
it helps to get associated from the grassroots level, right? Right from the universities, then the next level of clubs, and then you go to the pro and the higher clubs and the teams and the NFLs, the MLBs, and so on. So we are focusing on an infrastructure building of the AI gaming along in the metaverse, right from the grassroots level, along with the younger generations of it, and for the global sports, which caters to the global community and plethora of people around the globe, giving them an opportunity to create something different, something unique in within the AI.
I'm loving this whole conversation is terrific because Raj, what you had mentioned about just the confidence, you see your avatar wearing something and you almost start dressing like you might be a different person, because that's a huge thing. A lot of people turn to these things because they within themselves they're like, my outward appearance, my outward this is not what I want it to be. And then you can create this whole entire thing. And now all of a sudden you are gaining confidence within this and you're starting to dress like this and you're learning different trends, because I know that my kids are learning trends from their Roblox characters because everything's updated. Their clothing, their style, they're learning these style tips. We talk about, video games, like I'll play Call of Duty and things like that. And you're learning, different things about the world and interacting with other people. It's this whole entire metaverse that you guys have created is fascinating. And the potential is endless. And this has been a really cool conversation to hear you guys discuss this in such depth and such detail. And the like you said, you guys are like the AI. You're constantly evolving. You're staying up with those trends, and that's incredible. I love how you guys are doing this. You're just staying alive and keep it going, keep it going, keep it going.
Yeah. No, ultimately we are a technology company, sports technology company, driven by the sports community, right? So that's how we position ourselves: is that we take everything we are learning on the tech side, but we are also learning a lot from the sports community and finding out what their needs are. And based on their needs, we are constantly evolving the product, right? Loot Mogul first generation is much different than what Loot Mogul is today, and what Loot Mogul will be in 5 years or 10 years from now. So for us, it's constant evolution of the product is very critical, based on community feedback, based on what the brands are also talking about. Like, so we have been engaged with a lot of different brands. Brands wants to say, how can I capitalize on people wearing my avatar jersey? Because right now, an avatar jersey can be a Nike jersey, can be an Adidas jersey, right? How can I benefit from that? So we are getting a lot of feedbacks from that perspective. And then obviously, as a fan and athlete, you're obviously gaining a lot, learning a lot. And then the other best part about all these models is that you are generating almost like, from revenue perspective, almost like a royalty income-based model for life. So essentially, even you may die, like, hopefully nobody dies soon, but let's say you may die, but your avatar may live forever. And that avatar is engaging in several activities, and that's generating a royalty-based income for not only your family, but also the community. So that the revenue generation becomes very critical in this kind of a blockchain AI space, in gaming specifically.
This has been an incredible conversation. We're very excited to see where MoguLX is going to go. This is eye-opening for me. I've learned so much just talking. Raj, Kuntal, we thank you so much for joining us today and giving this perspective and letting us know what innovative things that you guys are coming up with Loot Mogul. So thank you so much, both of you, for your time today to sit down and talk with us.
Yeah, no, thank you, Kevin, for having us. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that.
Of course. Well, this has been the Overseas Famous podcast. We will see you guys next time right here on the Overseas Famous channel.